that would be great. Tonight, we are going to be talking about home staging to sell with Amanda Cummings. For over 165 years, Chelsea Groton has been committed to doing all we can to help customers and communities succeed in big and small ways. And now that things are starting to open up and we're going to start having in-person classes, we're really looking forward to seeing everyone. But we have been thrilled to offer these fun and educational programs virtually so we could stay connected with the members of our community. And definitely, if you like this class and you're interested in more classes that we're having, check out our website, chelseagroton.com/Chelsea University. All of our upcoming classes are listed there. And you can also follow us on our social media accounts as well. But for this class, I'm going to be handing it over to Amanda to introduce herself and to talk about home staging to sell. And as I said, we're going to be recording, so we're going to keep everyone on mute and your cameras off. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box or hold them till the end of the presentation. So we hope you enjoy tonight's program, and I'm going to pass it over to Amanda.
Okay, thank you so much, Krista. So, hi everyone. Welcome to my first Zoom home staging class. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy it. It's my first one, like I said. My name is Amanda Cummings, and I have been staging homes for roughly 8 years. I have a background in graphic design as well as interior design, and I found home staging when listing my own home for sale, and my realtor had asked if I would be interested in home staging. So after I said yes, the rest is history. And I love that every home is uniquely different and always requires its own plan. And that is really the fun part. No staging is the same. I'm going to begin next with home preparation, which is huge. And then we'll move on to actual home staging, where we'll get into the nitty gritty of everything that you need. Sorry about that. So let's begin with home preparation. Let's say that you're thinking about putting your home on the market in a few months. And there are, however, a few exceptions where a client may come to us a year out for paint recommendations for every room, or even ideas for remodeling the bathroom, or even upgrading their kitchen, which is great, but that's more on the rare side. Typically, it's a month or two out where we would visit your home and do a consultation. So the first thing we do is we put ourselves in the buyer's shoes, drive up to the home as if it's our home or the potential buyer, and if there's curb appeal. Curb appeal is so important, even in this hot market. Curb appeal needs to be addressed. So these are the top 10 exterior items I typically point out if needed. Number 1, do you need a new mailbox, or maybe just the mailbox post needs a fresh coat of paint? House numbers. Can you see the house numbers? There's many times where we've actually driven by homes that we're going to stage because there are no house numbers. So make sure you have house numbers that are visible. And actually, I picked up a few just to give you an example. These are just some modern house numbers from like Home Depot, and they're $8 each. So this will just add a little bit to your entry. Landscaping. Are the shrubs in need of pruning, or perhaps covering up part of the house or window? If you do have something covering up a window, then it's always best to prune back as far as you can and make your windows visible, or even remove if you have to. The more light you let in, the better. So sometimes the shrubs are overgrown, so it could be best just to remove them and start with something fresh. Tearing out old shrubs has seen better days, and replacing with a few new ones also has a major impact, and it'll give your home an instant updated feel. Number 4, let's mulch. I can't emphasize enough how adding mulch gives a home a fresh look, and home buyers will think that you have maintained your home and are keeping it up to date. And typically, I suggest using brown or black mulch over orange. Number 5, the roof. Many people have roof stains, but 9 out of 10 times they can be removed with a power washing. So don't neglect this. Like the roof, the same goes for vinyl siding and fencing. So any way that you can freshen up with power washing is a great tool. Just head to your local hardware store, or even better yet, maybe your neighbor might have one, and that would be awesome. Number 7, if your home hasn't been painted in several years, then consider painting it. It's a great way not only to add value, but set your home apart from others on the market or neighborhood. And number 8, if painting your home is an option, consider applying a coated paint to the front door. You'll really be amazed how this adds a little pizzazz. Just that little pop of color or just fresh coat really does a lot. Number 9, if you have walkways around your home, make sure there are no loose bricks or pavers that could potentially be a tripping hazard. You, of course, don't want anyone falling on your property. That would not be good. Number 10, lastly, add potted flowers to the steps. This is my favorite, or entrance to your home. Nothing says welcome like a pop of color and fresh flowers. And any color do, but I personally love the vibrant pinks. And this is just a little sampling. This is what I kind of like to put on the front porch. So once we have addressed the exterior, we would head inside and again act as your future buyer. This is called the walkthrough. The hardest thing sellers have to come to terms with is that this will soon no longer be their home, but someone else's, which I know is sad and really never easy. But the sooner you can realize this, the easier it is to begin packing fundamental things and begin the home staging process. So let's start with the famous depersonalization. We now know, well, at least by now, you need to know that to remove family photos. It's okay to leave a couple on a bookshelf or a bedroom, but for the most part, tuck away. If you have a gallery wall, that's like not a focal point, that's okay, you can keep that. Otherwise, it's best to remove and fill in with another artwork. The reason being is that you want buyers to come in, walk in, and feel like this could be their home. And if they're staring at all your family photos or your family signs, your last names throughout the tour, then they just feel like they're viewing someone else's home and not theirs. So something you really want to avoid. And also consider removing any framed diplomas or awards, as this is like personal information that you may not want everyone walking through your home to view. So now let's move on to furniture and discuss what we need to do there. And don't worry, I'm not going to have you go out and buy all new furniture. It's more than likely we just ask you to remove some. And again, we want rooms to feel spacious, not overcrowded. Maybe you have a buffet that's crowding a room or one too many chairs in that living room. Maybe extra end tables are not needed. That's all about letting buyers view the space and not your stuff. And it's funny, as sometimes sellers are like, they thank us because they're like, thank you for letting me remove that. And we're like giving them permission to get rid of something they have been wanting to do for years. So let's go back to personalization. Personalization also comes into play when looking at paint colors in rooms. You may love that cranberry red or that bright yellow wall, but it's not everyone's taste, and it may again turn buyers off. So we highly recommend painting rooms in neutral colors. We refer to them as grayish, meaning they're a little gray, a little beige, which equals grayish. So these paint colors not only complement most home decor, but they act as a fresh palette for buyers to envision their own furniture and belongings. So with painting, you truly do get the most bang for your buck. At the end of this class, I actually have a few colors that you can jot down. These are colors I constantly recommend for interiors of homes, and they truly work everywhere. I love them. So if you are open to painting the rooms, then focus on the main living area, typically the family room and the kitchen. However, if you have a dining room that has a bold color, like we mentioned before, then consider painting that room as well. Next, the master bedroom. It's a huge factor. So this should also be neutral and inviting. You want the master to feel relaxing. Also consider purchasing white bedding for that hotel-like feel. And we'll talk about that a little later as well. So with painting, buyers also feel it's one less thing that they have to do. And just one of the key factors, it might be one of the key factors in their decision to actually purchase your home. Plus, these neutral colors photograph awesome, and again, will complement most home furnishings. And don't forget the trim. Sometimes people neglect this. The trim takes a beating, and sometimes we get so used to seeing it marked up when we come in and out of the home, we don't even realize it. And honestly, It just could use touching up, and that's all it needs. And you'll be amazed how just attending just little detail could take years off your home. This may go without saying, but if you have any water damage or major cracks in your ceilings, then definitely address these, as this could be a red flag for future home buyers. And of course, any inspectors will identify this right away. So let's now discuss wall-to-wall carpets. Especially if you have kids or a pet owner, then we know how hard it may be to keep clean. And this also holds a lot of odors and carpets that we'd probably also just don't smell when we come in and out every day, but other people will. Definitely buyers. So definitely would recommend having them cleaned, professionally cleaned, if not replaced, especially if stains are large and clearly visible, then definitely look into that. If a carpet's bunching up or wrinkled in some areas, then actually having a stretch is an inexpensive way to give it back some life. Something I realized a few years ago that I didn't realize this was an option. And speaking of odors, I love to conceal with these little things around my home. This is a fresh linen smell, and it's little gel beads, and they soak up a lot of odors. I use them in my mudroom, bathrooms, and teenage boys' rooms. And a side note, I have 4 teenage boys, and I know it works great. Trust me, they do work. You can find them almost anywhere. I look at Amazon, TJ Maxx, Bed Bath & Beyond's. Another odor absorber that I don't unfortunately have for you today is charcoal bags. And these work great as well. And those can be hung anywhere. However, if you're a candle person, then it's best to stay on the citrus side. Stay away from heavy scents like vanilla or cookie. You want something crisp and fresh, but just one or two here and there, not everywhere. I love the lemongrass scent. This is from Home Goods, small, and it, get a decent amount of burning out of it, but stay with the citrus scents and nothing too heavy. And this was only $8. For area rugs, again, we will stick with our neutral theme. The more neutral, the better. Anything with a loud print or anything with multiple colors will distract buyers from looking at the actual space, and you don't want that. We love natural fiber rugs as they complement any decor, and trust me, we have used them in every home from modern to traditional, and they truly work everywhere. You would be amazed. Anything from a jute rug to a sisal rug or even a neutral rug with a subtle pattern will work beautifully. And if you're not familiar with a jute rug, I have one here. This is a jute natural fiber rug, and you can see how it adds great texture, and it will truly just go with any decor. This is obviously just a small rug, but you would need a larger one for your room. Lighting, another worthy investment that won't break the bank. There's so many great affordable options online or even at your local hardware store that will make a huge impact. And again, this is something me, myself, or any stager could recommend for you if you don't feel comfortable picking it out for yourself. If you have been wanting to change out that light fixture in a kitchen, bathroom, or dining room, chances are buyers are going to feel the same. If you've been wanting to do it, chances are the buyers are as well. All right, so let's talk about window treatments. This is very common. All too often, we walk into homes and they feel dark and dated, and not always because of the paint colors, but because of the window treatments. That floral drape or that loud pattern that was your favorite years ago, it's time to take down and let the light in. We always like to say that, let the light in. Even if you have cafe curtains or valances, it's amazing how it'll instantly transform a room by just showing off your windows and letting that sunshine in. Buyers are looking at your beautiful windows and all the natural light your home has to offer. If you need window treatments for privacy, then simply just keep up the blinds, just pull them up for photos, and use light and airy window panels. Something simple like this I have right here is just white panels, again, from Home Goods, simple. And actually only 2 for $24, so not too bad. Again, good old Home Goods. It's a home run. Lastly, the closets. Most of us have things in our closets that we don't need or even realize that whatever is in there. We have clothes, board games, expired products, and just stuff and things we don't even need or want. And the last thing you want buyers to feel is that you don't have enough storage. People need storage. I'm not talking about you don't have to completely empty out your closet. but just a good cleaning and organization really go a long way. You want buyers to get a good sense of the space. And trust me, once you start getting rid of things or feeling or giving them away, it's truly cathartic. It really feels so good. Plus, the less things for you have to move. I actually like to use the approach by Marie Kondo. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she has an approach where if an item brings you joy, keep it. If it doesn't, then let it go. So if this doesn't bring you joy, then out the door it goes. However, one exception is books. And I know it's the first thing people pack because they're easy to pack. But hold on to your books at least until after the staging, because they make the perfect staging accessory. Books add warmth, they give overall homey feel. We use them in the family rooms, bedrooms, offices, and of course, cookbooks in the kitchen. Okay, so we've done the initial walkthrough and we gave you the list of recommendations. Then we would finally set up a date to come back and add the finishing details. Typically, the date is either set the day of photography or day before. That way you don't have to keep everything perfectly placed for too long. Although we do recommend that you keep everything the best possible way, keep it where it is until under contract. And if you forget, take pictures. Sometimes it may require one more visit before the final staging so that we can see the progress and then a list of what is needed for us to bring. Just make our list of pillows and colors and all that kind of stuff, artwork and accessories throughout the home. These items will stay in the home until you actually go under contract. So it's not like we come in and then take the pictures and we leave. They'll stay until you go under contracts. There are times, however, when homeowners have plenty to work with, which is great, and we just repurpose what they have and reuse items elsewhere. We will also play with furniture arrangement. The goal always is to create flow and welcoming spaces. All right, we're moving on again. So let's move on. So why would you want to stage your home when you've already done all the prep, the painting, everything else? Well, one, your home is probably taste specific to you, which is great. But when you're selling, you want buyers to walk in and feel like it's their home and not touring someone else's home. Things like Disney decor, or maybe you love the ocean, which I do, but you have to minimize as best as possible. I mean, the ocean truly is wonderful and Disney is fun, but if you have that theme in several rooms, then it may turn certain buyers off. You want everything to feel neutral and very likable. Just think about hotels and hotel lobbies. They feel neutral and not specific to anyone's taste, like you want to be there. This is the goal of our staging. Also, we want photos on your real estate listing to be so enticing that you want them to feel they absolutely need to come see your home. Every single person is looking at their real estate options online, and they're telling the real estate agent what houses they want to see based on photos. So if the house feels dark and outdated, then chances are they won't ask to see your home. Real estate photos are so very important. You want them to appeal to as many buyers as possible, and staging is what will get you there. The other thing is that not only do you want to be on the list for buyers to see your home, you want them to call the realtor and ask to be on the list, but you want to be on the top of their list. For example, say a realtor is taking their buyers out on a Sunday to tour 4 homes, but your home is 4th on the list. They see the first 2, and with this market, they like one of them enough to want to make an offer immediately because they don't want someone coming in after them to grab it. So if your home is low on the list, they may have liked your home, but will never know because it wasn't at the top. So what will put your home at the top of the list? Staging. Staging will allow your photos to get you there. We also like to mention that the other reason for staging is to simplify. The less you have cluttering the space, the better. As pictures are viewed on a phone, they're small, and if you have a collection of things, it'll appear crowded rather than show off the space of the room. Buyers are buying the home and they're just not buying your things, and that's just a great tip to remember. They're buying your windows, your walls, not the stuff around it. So if we make your photos look great and there is high demand in your market, then the likelihood that you're going to close at ask or more is much higher. So you really want to focus your online listing. That's the main, just focus on the online because it's the pictures that really counts and it's something that you actually have control over. So if you tackle the home prep and apply the staging techniques, then it's pretty much guaranteed a win-win. So I'm going to go over how we typically stage each room to appeal to the most home buyers, and again, bring you that winning offer. So let's start with the heart of the home, the kitchen. Since I'm in my kitchen, I decided to stage it as if it were going on the market. The first and most obvious is make sure it's clean. I mean, most people are fine with that. From fingerprints on the appliances to dirty dishes in the sink. Make sure like magnets and the kids' artwork, notices are off the fridge. Tuck the soap and paper towels tucked away. And all food items in pantry or fridge. Nothing left out like cereal boxes, chips, that kind of stuff. While we realize most people have like a lot of appliances on their countertop, just choose one. And typically it's the coffee maker. At least for me it is. I love coffee. So if you also don't have a built-in microwave and you have it on your countertop, it's best to put it in the garage or the basement for pictures and showings. The goal is to show off as much counter space as possible. All right, so now how to stage the kitchen. So leave out the coffee maker, add 2 mugs, preferably white, and I'll show you over here what I have. I just added, coffee, 2 mugs, very simple. If you can see. And then we'll go to the other side of the kitchen. And over here, I just have 3 canisters and a cutting board. And then this is actually a real plant, but usually in staging, we use faux. So pretty simple. And you can obviously use faux or real, whatever you want to keep with the upkeep. But if you still feel like you need more, then add cookbooks or decorative bowl filled with fruit, like the one behind me. And yes, these are faux, but they add some color. So I like to use something bright. Lemons, pears, apples, even artichokes are great. However, if you have an island or a peninsula, then we typically save the bowl or faux fruit for that. So maybe a simple vase with fresh flowers you can use. And lastly, put away all the dish towels. You don't want to remind buyers of dirty dishes. This is a carefree, relaxing home. They want to buy it. So that's the idea. Just put any ideas of chores away. If you have a kitchen table, then a simple floral arrangement or faux fruit in a bowl will work great. However, if you already use the faux fruits on the island, then don't repeat it. Use something else. Use the flowers instead. Don't double up. Do one or the other. Okay. Now, I think we covered the kitchen. So clean, cleanly, simple. That's just less is more. Moving on to the family room. Once again, hoping you that cleaned and dusted, and assuming you've removed any excess family frames or collections that we would come in collections, then we would come in and we would add pops of color with pillows, with 1 or 2 of them being neutral and the other color. The color would depend on the artwork and any other accessories that you have in the room. For instance, this is some artwork that we may hang here. And as you can see, then we would pull maybe a green pillow for the color and a white neutral to complement it. We would arrange the furniture that would look best in photography, as well as the showings. So if you have a chair blocking a fireplace or a walkway, then we would reposition it. If you have a mantle, we would either bring in a couple accessories or use yours. This will all be decided during the walkthrough. And artwork as well would be decided during consultation. If you have display shelves, then try to minimize the best you can. Again, books are your friends. Add interesting accessories, baskets, and it's fine to add a frame or 2, but keep it simple. I'm going to walk you over to just to give you a glimpse of some staged shelves. I took out a few family frames and just a simple neutral decor, just something easy like that. Baskets and interesting items, and of course, like I mentioned, books. We also love in family rooms to add large baskets. They make it feel cozy and they give off texture. So here's an example of a round basket. that you could throw a couple blankets in or even a pillow. They look great against the fireplace or maybe the side of a sofa. On the coffee table, now you have several different options, but I like to use a tray with a few books in it. So this nice wooden tray with a couple coffee table books, and then you could add the faux plants to go on top or to the side. Greenery truly brings life to a room, even if they are fake, and they just look great in pictures. They do. All right, so going back to trays, these are great home stage accessories that help pull a space together in a family room or a kitchen or even a bedroom. You can add books, add a couple of decorative spaces. You get the idea, and this helps feel the room pull together. All right, moving on to the dining room. If you have one, which I know a lot of people don't these days, but if you do, you could also apply this to kitchen table if you do not have a dining room. So in the past, people used to set the table. This is no longer the case. This kind of makes it home feel dated. And now all you basically need is a simple, and again, neutral runner, and either a simple floral or 2 or 3 faux plants centered on the table. I'm going to quickly bring you over to my kitchen table and show you what I mean. This adds interest and also looks great in pictures. So just a runner, and it's pretty easy and simple. Now, if you also in your dining room have a display cabinet, make sure it's not filled to the brim. If it is, then try and thin it out the best you can. You'll just have less to pack and be ready when it's time to move. Lastly, if you have a buffet or some sort of serving table, then it's always nice to set the stage. Like you just add a couple of glasses, a bottle of wine, it'll give future buyers that taste of how it will feel entertained and they won't want to leave. All right, let's tackle the bathrooms. Here, you really want to give off that hotel feel. And this goes for all the bathrooms. Tuck away any toiletries, toothbrushes, toothpaste. No one wants to see your personal items. Basically everything off the countertop except a nice crisp white towel, also a pop of green, and again, in a tray. So maybe something like this could sit on your countertop. If you don't have room for a tray, then just use a rolled up towel and the simple faux plant. And yes, even the soap gets tucked under the sink, and also take up any bath mats. This not only makes a floor feel chopped up in photos, but just it feels cleaner and fresh when you don't have anything on the floor. And if you have a glass shower doors, then make sure you remove products from the inside for pictures. And if you somehow forget, like after pictures are done and showings, then no worries, that's all be forgiven, not a big deal. All right, let's move on to the master bedroom. As I mentioned before, in order to obtain that hotel feel, then going with white bedding will give you just that hotel crisp feel. For color, you can add artwork over the bed and maybe a few decorative pillows. So for here, if we're going blue, then maybe you use like 2 blue artwork and add a blue lumbar pillow on the bed to complement the artwork. Also, clear off the bedside tables, any wires that are hanging down, and hide the alarm clocks if you have one. I know everyone uses their phones these days, but if you have an alarm clock, hide that under the bed or somewhere else for pictures. And also add a couple of books. Remember, don't get rid of those books. The same goes for dressers. Clear off the most that you can. It's fine to leave like a photo or 2 if you would like, that's totally fine. And if you happen to have any table scarves, or doilies, it's the same principle as rugs. You just don't want the furniture to feel choppy. You want them to feel clean, simple, and have a clean, simple look. And if you have a hamper in your room and put in a closet, remember, you want the hotel feel. Hotels don't have hampers. And you also don't want to remind buyers that there's chores. No one wants to think about laundry when they're touring a house. And finally, as we are approaching the summer months, let's go over the physical feel of your home. How does a buyer feel when they walk in their home? You don't want the home to feel hot and sticky. So blast that AC so they feel cool, crisp, and it's nice, clean air. The best takeaway is that less is more when it comes to home staging. And if I didn't say it enough, neutralize. If you want your home to appeal to most buyers and ultimately bring in you that winning offer, then please neutralize. It truly does work. And as I promised, let me give you a few paint colors that seem to work in every home, no matter what style or taste. So my first and most favorite is Collingwood. This is by Benjamin Moore. The number is 859, and it's Collingwood by Ben Moore. I love this for family rooms and kitchens. The second, a lot of people have heard of this, is called Revere Pewter. It's a tone darker than Collingwood, but it also grows great in family rooms, bedrooms. And lastly, for bathrooms, some bedrooms, it's great as well. Stonington Gray, it's my favorite. This is number HC169, but I recommend trying this a swatch in several walls because like with many paint colors, it changes in the lights, and you actually should do this most paint colors, not just, Collingwood and Revere as well, but this one does tend to take on a blue tone, but the other ones above it as well. Wickham Gray and Compton Gray are great as well. So I think I covered almost all the bases when it comes to home staging, but I would love to open it up and see if there's any questions. Thank you so much.